Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Crystal Hinkle. I'm part of the team here at Syncro. I will let the rest of my team introduce themselves.
Hey everybody, it's Tatiana. Welcome. Hi everyone, I'm Brandy. Nice to see you all.
Hey everybody, it's Hannah. Hi.
Love it. I feel like we are starting to all have our own little intro sound. Anyways, welcome to Open Office Hours. Thank you so much for joining us. This is really just a place for, really any member of the Syncro team, whether you're just looking at Syncro for the first time or possibly been a customer of ours for years. So we welcome you. All questions are welcome. We use the Q&A. So just wanted to let you know if you see us, our eyes glancing somewhere, we're probably having that up on a different screen, like we probably all have, several screens sitting in front of us. But all questions are fair game. So whether it's how-tos or more of deep dive or specific to your workflow, we're happy to attack those. If it is something a little bit more on the technical side that we're unable to answer either in this session, we'll either get the answer or point you in the direction to find those answers. So what I'm going to do right now, I'll go ahead and grab my Q&A just so that I have it up on a screen. And one thing I will say, just Gary, I see you missed, we missed last week. Yep, we were out for Juneteenth as a company holiday. So we were out last week. Again, those of you that are maybe joining us for the first time or, have seen a few, we do have a YouTube channel that we record all of these. This session is being recorded as well. So if there's anything you want to reference back, those usually get posted on our YouTube channel, usually by same day afternoon. But sweet. Okay, I see a question from John. I'll go ahead and let Brandy grab that.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, John is asking, can you edit time for another user? So I'm just going to share my screen real quickly with you guys and show you a couple things. First of all, I think first we should chat about the security groups, and the security groups are basically going to specify your different technicians and what level they are. So what do they have access to? So on here, you're going to be able to see quite a few different options for tickets. So if someone can make any changes, oh, this is notification. I'm sorry, wrong place. I'm like, wait, security groups. Here we go. Security groups. We have more than that. So on the tickets, if I scroll a little further down, you're going to see if they have access to editing tickets and then managing time logs as well. So that would be one. If they didn't have access to editing those, then no, they wouldn't be able to. But you can go into any ticket, and then I mean, I've never logged in as another technician, so you guys can let me know if I'm wrong, but I do believe you can go in and change this. Do you know for sure? Anyone? I thought you could, and someone here probably knows, but I'm pretty certain if they can adjust the time logs that they would be able to edit this, if you're referring to editing time here on a ticket. That's it.
Is this going to be a quiet Friday?
I know, it's so weird. Usually there's so many in here.
Let's see. I'm just going to read this one out loud from Christopher. I'm unable to use Splashtop with Syncro for iOS, but also using the original remote access program. I am not getting a keyboard to type in login credentials on the remote PC. Tried different browsers also. So let me just make sure I'm getting clarification. I'm not getting a keyboard to type the login credentials. When you say original remote access program, I'm assuming you mean Syncro Live. You're not getting a keyboard on your mobile device. With Syncro Live, I'll just kind of talk through this a little bit, but if you want to give me a little bit more clarification. So with Syncro Live, if you try to remote control from the mobile app, it will pop you out into a web browser. So it'll pop you out into a Chrome browser. So if you have the login screen, I have not tested that login screen on a mobile device. So I might have to check that. I would imagine, I think you get the same functionality as you should with a regular browser on your desktop. So I actually would encourage this one to be opened as a ticket, because I don't think that's the desired behavior. Cool. Okay. Yes. And yes, it was Syncro Live. Okay. Great.
Cool. A couple questions in here. So let's see, they're all disappearing. Peter is asking, when starting a timer on a ticket, can I adjust the minimum charge time from 30 minutes? Sometimes I may need a minimum time, but if I work on a ticket for 5 minutes and need to work on it later, I don't want it to record 30 minutes for the first 5-minute section. So let me just share my screen with you again. And for those of you who don't know, if you head into your admin section, and then you go down to your tickets, you're going to go to preferences, and I believe this is going to be further down on your additional settings. This is where you can specify the ticket timer to round up. So this is specific to the ticket timer. If you want to adjust it here, I would do so. And if you're looking to log time that like maybe using the timer, you do want it to round up, but if you're doing some other work you don't, I would not use the timer. If you're going to kind of be using a hybrid, you can click into the view log and actually enter your 15 minutes if you want, or even in communications, you can make a note here and you can log time however many minutes you want, and that will not update. So if you're not, or excuse me, it won't round up. So if you're not looking to round up, I would use those if you want to have a global setting for the timer. Hopefully that helps. No update on Abdul on the Mac backups at this time. We don't have a date that we can share. I don't even know if they have a date yet. And I think that's it for me.
Sweet. I was just going to read this one out loud from John. Just a follow-up on the FlowRoute SMS integration. MMS is currently working for me. I had a reply from a contact via SMS with an MMS photo of their computer unresponsive. This is very handy when they can't access their computer. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing, John. Pass it over to Tatiana.
Awesome, thank you so much. So I have a couple in here that I'm gonna grab. Robert says, when trying to sync with QuickBooks, I have run into an interesting problem. A number of clients have the same contact person, but if multiple QuickBooks customers have the same email address in them, it will prevent those customers from being synced. Is there a good way around this other than moving the email address to a different field? So you're right, moving the email address to a different field is the way to go through Syncro currently, just because we do use that main point of contact information as a unique identifier. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and I'll show you there is a different way. And again, this depends on if you are sending your invoices from QuickBooks or from Syncro. I do recommend doing it through Syncro just because if you have the same point of contact at multiple customers, Syncro is going to make it really easy for you. So what I mean when I say that is, let's go to our Larry's business profile. Right here, this main point of contact that I have listed here, this does need to be a unique identifier. This cannot be the same for like 10 different customers. Again, if you do have one accountant serving 10 different businesses, I would clear out this email address here or just put their actual business owner's name. But you could then separately list them as a contact, say, yep, this is the finance person. And then this email address can be repeated across all 10 businesses that this accountant works for. And then you can say, yep, this person receives billing emails from Syncro, and then that should help them receive their invoices, and that should also allow the rest of those to sync over. So hopefully that is helpful to you. Please let me know if you'd like me to elaborate. Happy to do so. I have another question from Brenda. Says, is there a way to remove the resolve quick button from the dashboard? Unfortunately, there isn't a way to disable that at this time. And then I think that was actually, oh, no, one more. Is there any option to save documents like SOP, network map devices, so we can list all details for clients? So yes, there's two different ways you could store this type of information, either through the documentation, which I'll show you, or in the contracts. Again, if you're trying to pass this information along to the customer, I would recommend putting it into the documentation center. And then you can say, yep, I want this type of these details to be shown to the customer via their customer portal, just like this. And then you would say, yep, only Larry's business needs to see information about their business, and then they would be able to view that via their customer portal. Or second option is in the contracts, is if you wanted to just keep this information internal just for you and your text to just kind of keep track of, you can just add a file there. So that's what I have for you.
Thank you so much, Tatiana. Richard has a question. Is there a way to change tickets with $0 to show a billing status of non-billable? A couple weeks ago, you helped me filter out all the tickets that have a billing status of invoice required or partially invoiced. However, we are having an issue where lots of tickets are coming up with the 0 charges, but the status says invoice required. We do not currently create invoices with $0. That's a good question, Richard. So that billing status, I'm just going to share my screen here, is really going to be attached to in the view log where it is charged. So if you are charging for $0 and wanting that to show up on an invoice, that then you would have to have the billing status of partially invoiced or invoiced, or requiring an invoice. If you did not want these charges to show up on an invoice, because it sounds like you're not actually sending out the $0 invoices, you could just say that the time is not charged. And then here, this would, oh, this ticket's already invoiced, sorry, but it would go ahead and change it to a non-billable status. And so, but that the view log here is where that's going to connect to with the billing status. And so hopefully that answers your question. And then I have one more from Brenda. Is there a quick way to know if a resolved ticket has been billed? Yes. So here you can go ahead and search in the main ticket module for the status is resolved. And then actually, it might even be easier to create a saved view, which I think Richard was mentioning last week, where you're looking through all the tickets that status is resolved, but then they're in that billing status of partially invoiced or invoiced required. And then on the ticket itself, if you just wanted to dive in to see if an invoice has been created, you'll just need to look here on the left side, and then it'll say what the billing status is, as well as the applicable clickable invoice there for you.
Awesome, thank you. A couple questions in here. Can you explain how the support portal works for users without a portal login, I'm assuming, and how the contact portal settings affect it? Specifically address the non-portal user group and having that field blank. How should this be set up to allow all users without a portal account to have access? So this is super important. All users without portal, like without a portal login, they're not going to have a customer portal per se. What they're going to have is, and I think if I just show you a session, I think that's how ours is set up. So I'll show you what they're going to see. Let me just pop into this really quickly. Whoops, I don't want to use that. I'm just going to use, whoa. Let me just use my backgrounding tools real quick. Live demo, right? So what's going to happen is, let me go to their portal. I think the contact that I have assigned to this asset does not have portal access. So essentially what they're going to see is just a screen where they can create a ticket. So anyone who doesn't have a login, this is all they're going to be able to do, right? Is just create a ticket. There's no other options. If you want to provide them different options, let me show you a few different things. So I'm in the admin section. If I head into customers and portal user permission groups, you have 26 possible things that you can give them access to. So you can create different groups. These aren't meant to be best practices. So if you all want to come in and create these different groups and select what they're going to see, that would be great. So you'll want to come in and choose what they're going to have access to seeing. And if you have a default group, that's fine too. So I can come in and I can say, okay, I want them to be able to see their whole company's tickets, basically everything. Or I might have someone that they can only see their own tickets. They can only see their own assets. You can kind of pick and choose that. And then my sample here, I have Larry, who has access to everything. So if I go in here and I'm going to see his customer portal, he can do all kinds of things, see their whole company's tickets, create a ticket, open invoices, payments, you name it. So essentially by not having a login, they're only going to have this option, is to create a ticket. So hopefully that helps. And then if you go over into your customers and you bulk select those, you're going to see to manage your portal users. So in this case, I could go ahead instead of just apply it to like the 25 that have been selected to all of them. If you want it to apply to all of their contacts, if you want to enable it, and then what permissions you'd like to give them. So you can absolutely do this. And of course you can require MFA. So hopefully that helps. And then let me just find the other ones I have in here. So Randy, welcome back. We missed you too. It's getting close to the end of the month. Can you show how you could use the billing system to make use of the prepaid hours so that it reflects the correct amount for the client? This almost always shows 0, and this confuses the client that pays us for, let's say, 5 hours a month. So I think the important thing here is that you do need to have their prepaid hours on a separate invoice from the recurring invoice. So what you could just go create a one-off invoice, or I would actually have an invoice that the two different ways I would do this. You would have a recurring invoice that just shows, let me just populate this, maybe like a standard line item and it's prepaid hours, and I'm going to add 5 prepaid hours. And maybe you want to do this on the 1st of the month. Okay. And then your recurring invoice is set up to bill on the 31st of the month. What's going to happen is your recurring invoice goes out with all of your pending ticket charges, or tickets that have been resolved that have any time on them. You could do that. And then it's going to pull everything that they've used in that amount of time. If they use over 5 hours, it's going to charge them that whatever rate you have set forth for your labor, whether that be like your standard rate or for that specific client. So I'm billing on the 31st. It's pulling in all that labor. Well, on the 1st, I'm going to have another recurring invoice that replenishes just 5 prepaid hours. And then at the end of the month, it's pulling all of that. So you do have to have 2 separate recurring invoices. You can't include them all on the same invoice. So hopefully that makes sense. And chances are, if you do have it that way, that's why it shows up as 0, because like the day you're invoicing, it shows as 0. So it won't replenish it that way. And the important thing to note with prepaid hours too is that labor is what deducts prepaid hours, and you can have multiple different labor rates that are deducting from the prepaid hours, and you can also have prepaid exempt labor rates. But we do have, I think Tatiana did a nice deep dive. It's probably been a year. It seems like it was yesterday, on prepaid hours or block hours. So I can dig that up and pop it over to you guys. I'll mute myself for a minute.
I have a few that I can grab here. Gary, there's one question I'm still getting clarity on, the one where you were asking about expected or bug behavior on the merging tickets. But I was talking to Carla asking just about, the question is, how long does it take for the dashboard to update? It seems to always be behind, making it less useful. So I'm trying to get the bottom of this. If I can get to the bottom of this today, I'll give you a better response. I know that in the past, like, the expected behavior is that if it doesn't like automatically sync, even hitting refresh in your dashboard should bring in the new stuff. Should is the keyword there. So I'm going to get to the bottom of like what the actual expected behavior is without like a hard refresh. So I'll find that out for you. I was reading this one from John, and then I think there's a follow-up to this, but he's saying on the ticket timer log, when reviewing time entries on a ticket, is there a way to make the tech assignment editable? It seems that the duration, notes, and rate can be edited, but it would be helpful to change the technician who is attributed to the change. Or to the charge, sorry. So yeah, that's definitely not an option right now. We do get this request quite often, to be honest. Right now, it is the desired behavior to not be able to edit who was charging time on a ticket. In fact, like essentially you have to kind of like delete it and then re-add, mostly because for like, I think both tracking, security purposes, just kind of having a change log on that ticket. My understanding is that's desired behavior. The follow-up that I see to this one was in regards to the date format on the when you add in like a date tag for the tickets and things like that. It does have a specific format right now. Link, that would be a feature request. I'm happy to pass that along. I know that we have heard this request before to be able to choose which date format. So I'm happy to pass that along. And then Randy, I am excited. We do have some really good news. We're working on our QuickBooks online integration, working on ways to update that, make the sync better, and all of those good things, which will help in this case. I definitely would advise to not do a quick payment on the Syncro side if you don't get a sync from the QuickBooks Online side back to Syncro to mark that invoice paid. I would check in with technical support on that. I don't think making a quick payment, because it's going to sync that over to QuickBooks Online is my understanding, and then you might have a mess. So if you could reach out to technical support on that to see if it doesn't sync, if there's like a quick sync or something that you can do to force that sync back, I would recommend trying to figure that part out instead of doing a quick payment. I think that would cause issues. I think that's all I have for now. I'm ready.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Crystal. I have a comment from Randy. He says, can we get a pause button for the timer rather than adjust start stop? For example, somebody spends 5 minutes on a call, then later 5 minutes, with the minimum time being 15, the client gets billed for 30 minutes, etc. Yes, I do hear this pretty often. It looks like there's quite a few requests around the time entries and ticket functionalities today. So I'm definitely passing all of these along to our senior product manager and the team as well. So really appreciate that. Brenda says, is there a way to have multiple resolved ticket statuses? So yes, or I'm sorry, is there a way to have multiple resolved ticket statuses? So what I think about when I hear this question is the custom ticket statuses. I'm going to go over to the admin section, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I want to make sure this information is helpful to you. So if we go over to our ticket preferences, you have the ability here to add different types of ticket types as well as ticket statuses. So the way that you can have multiple resolved statuses is to put the word resolved in front, or I believe it's in front, or maybe anywhere within that ticket status. So what this does is if you do move it to this status, it will pause the time to resolution, and it will show as resolved, if that makes sense. So as you can see, I have like 4 listed here. Some MSPs have a process to where once the tech is done, they put it into a status that says needs to be checked. Whoever needs to check it puts it either in a check status or a ready to invoice status, something like that. So hopefully that is helpful to you. And then I have, I believe, a couple more here. Next question is from John. I am a new Syncro user who has moved from Harvest for time tracking and invoicing. Is there a way to change the units logging time? Okay, this is another request for sure. I hear this one actually pretty often as well. Typically, I bill my clients in 15-minute increments. The unit of labor is displayed in hours, not in minutes. This would be very helpful. So yes, I see what you're saying. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. On any ticket, it does show the minutes units on the ticket time or ticket labor log. But I believe when you convert it into an invoice for 15 minutes, it would say 0.25 of an hour. Again, not sure if that's something that's being worked on, but like I said here, mine is also rounding up to 15 minutes, and it will show that unit of time here in the time tracker. But when you are billing for that time and convert this into an invoice, I believe it does say like 0.25, something like that. So I will pass that along for you as well. And then let's see, I think I only have one more, or a couple more. Richard says, is there a automated way to generate an invoice from a resolved ticket? Yes. Yes, there is. So the way that you can do that is if you have either a custom ticket status or just use the built-in resolved one, you could create an automatic invoice. In Syncro, we call them recurring invoices. So if we go over to invoice modules, recurring invoices, you could create one for your customer, and you can say, I want to bill only for tickets that are in that resolved status. this is where you would find that setting, is you would say add any pending ticket charges, and then you would say only for the ticket status of the tickets that are closed. So again, this always comes down to personal preference. Some MSPs bill as work is complete, as time is going along, even if the ticket is not resolved, just because the time has been spent and they want to get paid. Others wait until the ticket is completely resolved, this is the setting that you would use for that. And then the last one I'll grab here is a question about, is there any link where we can watch all your videos and learn all the things available as options in Syncro? Yes, I dropped that into the chat box. We do have a full YouTube channel with a lot of videos for you guys to take a closer look at based on the topics that you're interested in. That's it for me.
I just want to make a quick announcement that I think I was wrong. I could have sworn forever that you didn't have to have them on a separate recurring invoice, and then someone told me differently. So Randy, I'm pretty certain I just read the entire KB. I think you can just put it all on one recurring invoice, but I think that also might be why it's showing up as 0, because the same day you're adding the prepaid hours, they're being reduced on that same invoice. So that's likely why it shows up as 0. But unless someone knows differently, I think you can just take what I said and forget about it.
Thank you so much, Brandy, for that update. I have a cool feature request from John. Is it possible to have the timer automatically start when clicking into a ticket? Also, could the time be then entered into the minutes spent field under communications? This would be very helpful. John, thank you for that feature request. I will go ahead and pass that along. And then I think this is also a feature request, and correct me if I'm wrong, team, but Chip is asking, is there a way for me to be CC'd on all outbound automated emails, ticket emails, scheduled visits, etc.? I don't believe there is a way to set that up right now, but I will pass that along.
One thing with that too, you can, so let me just share my screen real quickly. You can do like a subscriber. So why is my right screen not showing? So what you could do is like on a select ticket, if you go in there and you want to subscribe to this ticket, so you can add additional CCs here, by the way, and it doesn't have to be a contact. Now, what's going to happen is if this does not belong to me, let me just assign it. Where is the technician? Am I missing it? Where does it show which technician is assigned? Oh, because
Right
it's
there,
not
it's
assigned to
nobody.
anyone. That's why I'm like, where is this? So we'll pretend this is assigned to Steven. What you could do is if you go up to actions and subscribe to this ticket, you'll get all communications that Steven will also get. So hopefully that helps.
The only other thing I was going to add to Chip's question is that, you know, if you're having to subscribe, if you want this to be global, having to subscribe to each ticket is, I mean, it's a really cool option when it's maybe like here and there, I want to follow this one. But like in your notification settings too, like it's not necessarily a CC, but you can be notified like on all ticket stuff. Like you could be notified on all new tickets, any new comments that have been added to a ticket. So you could leverage that notification center. It's not going to CC you, but you could like at least have visibility of kind of what's going on. So hopefully that helps.
I'll go ahead and take Greg's question. It seems like the customer portal is kind of a hot topic today. So customer portal. How can I see what the customer sees in their portal? It's only letting me see the ticket request form. For some reason, when I click on the user portal, it goes to the ticket request. So this is what I was showing about if you don't have a portal user set up, then that's all you're going to see. So right now, when I go into Larry's, into his profile here and I see the links, it's going to have his customer portal, and that's what Larry sees. Now, keep in mind, the reason why it has all these different things is because I've actually set up a portal group for him. So the first step is admin section. And set up your portal user permission group. So you're going to want to choose what they have access to. And then the most important piece of this is actually going into Larry's customer profile, go down to the portal users and you have to add portal users. So you need to come in and choose the contact assigned and then which portal group they're going to have. So this is going to be like the most important thing. If you don't have that, they're not really going to have a portal. When they click on customer portal, it's just going to go to a ticket generation. That's it.
I have an answer, Gary. I'm going to grab this one. Merging tickets. It seems the contact email on the losing ticket is not carried over to the destination ticket. Is this a bug? So, what I'm understanding, it keeps the contact of the ticket that secondary ticket is merged into. Ticket A merges to ticket B. Ticket B's contact will remain. So that is the expected behavior. Okay, perfect. So glad I was able to get to that one. Link, that's awesome information. So in regards to the CC on the emails, if you bring your own SMTP, you could configure the CC rule in your system. So thank you, Link. That's why we love this and love our community, because that's really, really helpful. I didn't know that. So thank you. Okay, John is saying, is there a way to create a button to launch a Screen Connect session similarly to the remote access button that launches Splashtop when using Screen Connect when using the Screen Connect integration? This would make the integration even tighter than it is. Also, thank you for doing such a great job with open office hours. I look forward to learning and seeing all your happy faces. So thank you, John. We appreciate you saying that. So I don't think that at this point we have any plans to continue to add on to that Screen Connect integration. You know, it's still just kind of like the click down button, right? Like, I don't think that's changed, has it, from when we launched integrated Splashtop? It's still just like remote access, and then you have the, you know, click down to Screen Connect. I don't think we have necessarily any UI or UX plans to update that just anytime soon, but I'm happy to pass it along. David is asking, in QuickBooks Desktop, I sometimes modify a customer name and then sync it with Syncro, but Syncro keeps pushing the old customer name back to QuickBooks. So with QuickBooks Desktop, it's a sync from Syncro to QuickBooks. So that will continue to happen. So what I would suggest is, if you do need to modify the customer name, you would modify it on the Syncro side, because that will push to QuickBooks, is my understanding. All right, I'm done.
Cool. Larry says, is there any work being done to improve the terminal command in PowerShell? It's almost unusable. I honestly haven't heard anything about that. Usually people tell me they like it. So if there's something going on, like, please write to support. And with this too, like, we are not technical support. So you'll notice that we're kind of chatting some of you guys and asking you to submit a ticket. And that's just because we don't have access to your account. We don't have access to seeing like all of the support tickets that come in. Maybe we do, but we don't read all of them all day. So please, 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 if you notice something that's not working the way that you think it should, or something specific to your account, then please reach out to support.
Thank you so much, Brandy. I'll take the next one here. And please correct me if I'm mispronouncing your name. I think it's Ashish. If I'm wrong, please tell me. I apologize in advance. I love directly addressing people on these types of calls. I think it's more personal that way. So the question is from Ashish, you have shown documentation earlier for my question, can we create different folders to keep documents separate as per category? So let me share my screen. According to the text that's written here, it should be available to you. So if you go over to the documentation page, it says, if you want the left navigation menu on the wiki page, just create an article with the name left nav, and it will stick it on the left of all pages. So it should populate like this. I was testing this and I can't get it to stick perfectly, so I might need to do some follow-up here, or you can also reach out to our support team and they can walk you through that as well. And then beyond that, you also asked if there is a way to search or place tags to search documentations easily. I believe if you search for example, by business name, it will populate all of like there is a search bar and documentation listed there. So those would be the options available to you currently. Stop sharing my screen. Nope, maybe not. One sec. There we go.
David's asking, is there a way for a technician to log into the customer's portal without using the customer's logon? Yes. So again, if you go over to that customer page, you'll just click under their links. You're going to see their portal, and that's where you're going to see what they can see. And I dropped the KB since there's been a lot of questions regarding the customer portal, just step by step it'll walk you through how to set it up, how to set up your portal groups, how to assign those portal groups, how to see what your customers see, you name it.
Awesome. I'm going to grab this one from John. And so, John, how can a technician's work type on a refurb ticket be associated to the refurb item upon completion? We are finding that the refurb item is not incorporating the value of the technician's labor or any associate parts. And so, John, I'd love a little bit more information on your workflow and your process there. This might also be a great one to write into support for, because they would have some good insight there also. But I'm just going to share my screen for the refurb. This is a refurb product, so something that we took back in or are refurbishing. And so we have this option to add parts on hand. And so this is where you could add in like your technician's time, or you could add in other parts that were associated to refurb that product to then move it back into stock. And so I don't know if that would help you in your particular case. I'd love to hear more information. Otherwise, feel free to also write into support, because they would be able to help as well.
Gotcha. So David is asking, he said when he does what I mentioned, it's asking to log in. So what's going on there is on the contact, you have a login. So let me just show this really quickly. So down here, they have this information, and that's why it's requiring you to log in, it seems like, which I would think is expected.
Yeah, that's expected. Even like on our demo account.
Yeah, when we do that, it shows up like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Definitely expected behavior. What do we got?
And yes, that will be for the main contact or main customer, not each individual contact. You would need to log in with their login.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Greg's saying we would like to be able to add users / salespeople without needing to buy another seat. This would allow us to assign customer groups and calculate commissions without the tech tools available. Any chance of that happening? As far as like completely free users, I don't see that happening. I will say that, we do assess this use case. We hear about this often. Most of the time, it's our MSPs are experiencing such a price cut coming to Syncro just based upon like the no per endpoint pricing. But with this case in particular, from a technical side, just where you said, they wouldn't have access to the tech part, that's where security groups do come in handy, where like you can limit someone, where if they're doing sales or if they're scheduling tickets and really that's all they have to do is view, you absolutely from a technical and security side can go into security groups and make sure that they don't have access to remote control, running scripts, policies, all of that stuff on the RMM side that you wouldn't want them to have access to. And I think we get requests often for limited users and that kind of thing, which is of course from a business side, we're always looking into different ways to make our tool as useful for our MSPs as possible. So I'll continue to pass that request along. Okay, look at this. See it, 20 minutes left and I've got an empty Q&A.
There are some links in the chat box though, so in 21 minutes, those will go away. So feel free to go ahead and grab those while they're hot.
Yes, and what I might do real quick, let me launch this poll real quick. I want to know, it's always nice for us to know who's joining us today. I think a lot of you we recognize, we've seen your names, we've maybe even met you in person at one point or another, but it's always good to know, who's joining us for open office hours so we can make sure the content is appropriate. With that said, kind of like the fun stuff that we like to ask every once in a while is just if we were to do like a deep dive or something that maybe we don't normally talk about, is there something you'd like to see in open office hours? How could we make this hour even more valuable for you all? So we're open to suggestions. Like, this kind of your time to make some requests, since we have a blank Q&A right now, which doesn't happen often. Let's see. What else? Oh, here we go. Oh, I love it. Who wants to talk to Larry about all of the awesome stuff? Anyone?
So sorry,
will.
I'm
Oh.
going on a deep dive on
I
this
can.
on this documentation thing. So sorry. I do want to tell you about all the cool stuff, but I'm thinking about like 12 different things at the same time, and I can't talk while I'm doing that.
I could do the part about converting from another PSA to RMM. I can handle that part. So first of all, we have a lot of really awesome tools for you. Like, we want to make this as easy and streamlined as possible. So first of all, I'm just going to head over into our lovely App Center. If you guys see anything awesome on here, feel free to connect to that. We have a lot of integrations. We've had a lot of you guys join us from other platforms, so we've built some tools for that. We do have a ConnectWise importer tool if you're using ConnectWise PSA. We also have an agent installer. I actually believe your account might have these separate as different app cards, so you should have one for Atera, Autotask, Ninja. All of these are great for importing customer contact and ticket history. If you're using a PSA that is not Atera or Autotask or ConnectWise, you can, if you can get a CSV, if you can export via CSV from your existing platform, we'll provide you a template for your tickets and your invoices, and you can import those into Syncro. Our team will actually do that for you. Your customers, your contacts, your products, you can do on your own. And if you happen to use QuickBooks or Xero, when you sync that up, you're going to have the option to go ahead and import from there. So first of all, to get customers, ticket, and invoice data, there's a lot of things out there for you. Now, we also have a really awesome script that you can run from SolarWinds, Ninja, ConnectWise. We actually tell you exactly how to do it and provide that script for you. We've got some lovely photos of how to do that. If you're using an RMM that we don't have a direct tool with, we have an agent installer. This will generate a script for you to run inside of your existing platform and put Syncro on all of your devices for you. So we make that a really, really easy process. We go through the step-by-step of preparing that customer database just to make sure that all of the customers and assets are going to be mapped to the proper places. So if I mentioned SolarWinds, it's not in our App Center, but if any of you all are coming from SolarWinds, reach out to one of us and we can shoot you over the SolarWinds importer tool too. If you have questions about any specific PSA or RMM tools, let us know. We will help you. Komodo, I've been hearing that a little bit recently. People are coming from there too. So we do have something built from there. So we've got a lot of things to help you. And then with your antivirus, that's also an easy switch. You can migrate your existing Webroot and Bitdefender accounts over to Syncro, and we can assist you with that process too. So any other questions in terms of moving things over, let us know. There's someone out there that's done it from your existing platform, and we're happy to help connect you in some of our online forums.
Thank you so much, Brandy. That was awesome. Okay, I have a pretty exciting update regarding the documentation and searching tags, as well as having the left navigation popping up as well. So I'm going to go ahead and Brandy, if you can stop sharing so that I can share. I'd love to show this. I'm super excited because this is the first time I've been able to get it work like this. So first things first is this navigation on the left sidebar. I just tested this. All you have to do is when you are building out a new piece of documentation through Syncro, you just put left-nav like this, and then anything that is populated in here will now show just like this over here to the left-hand column. So hopefully that helps you stay a little bit more organized or gives you quick access to the pieces of the documentation that are the most important to you. So there you go. That's how you do it. Just you put left nav here on the name, left nav on the page name, and then it will be listed there. And then the other piece of that as well was if you can search using tags, and I did confirm that yes, you can do that as well. So I just used the first tag. I used the account address tag, which obviously did pull in the address there. And then when I went to search for it, it is now available there as well. It will pull in that specific piece of documentation listed there, credentials for Larry, just like that. So there you go.
How exciting. Oh, Crystal, you just sent that to, oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, to us. That was Crystal's dog. Yeah, so cute. Randy asked me, you resend those links to the free marketing templates from a couple of weeks ago. Yes, so I dropped those in the chat box. Those are awesome, you guys. Go ahead and grab those. Those are going to be marketing templates that are already pre-built that you can go in and edit. And so those are awesome. And then Rob, he's so funny. He says, I do win a prize for the longest question. That is awesome. We take all the questions. He says, I'm in Canada and have customers in the USA, so they are set to no tax. One has an office in Canada that we bill hardware locally with tax as it's shipped in Canada. I cannot seem to get those invoices to include taxes, even though every item has the tax set and the invoices is set to tax. The customer level is set to tax free. Can I just turn that off when generating invoices that require tax, or is there a better way? That's a good question. I am also wondering if that set to tax free kind of just turns everything off. So if you want to test, I would even create a tax that is 0. And so then that way apply that instead of doing the tax free box and then test that out to see if that works. This is also a good one to write into support for. They might have a better recommendation, but I would test that out just to see if that works for you.
Awesome. Greg, I was just gonna grab this one asking for CC Cleaner integration. We don't have a direct integration with CC Cleaner, but if you head to our community script library, you'll see that there's a script that you can run that runs CC Cleaner. I think there's like one that maybe installs it, but then also runs it. So we have a lot of MSPs that actually put that on to like a script on a policy level, whether it's a setup script or something running reoccurring. So we do have that script set up in our community for you.
Cool. Thank you. Brenda says, we bill once a month. We usually have multiple tickets for our customers. I put all tickets to one invoice. I am assuming you want to know how to do that, right? If not, I'm going to tell everyone how to do it anyways. So what I would recommend doing is just create a recurring invoice. You don't have to have any other like dynamic counters. If you just specifically want to say monthly, I just want to pull in any pending ticket charges. It is going to add anything that has had any charges to those tickets. If you want to just pull tickets that have been resolved in that period of time, boom, call it a day. It's going to automatically do it for you. So absolutely very, very, very easy. I would recommend doing it this way. At any point in time, if one of your clients calls and says, hey, I need an invoice earlier, I need to pay this, you can actually go create a one-off invoice at any point in time, and it's going to show you all tickets that are outstanding for this customer. So Larry has a lot, and I can go ahead and add those onto an invoice, or I can pick and choose based on status here. So hopefully that helps.
Thank you so much, Brandy. Randy says, we love the left nav option and have used it for a long time. Well, glad to hear that because it's new to me and I'm so happy that I finally figured out how to make it work. So yay. He says, we have other links to other docs in the wiki. Would be nice to have, nice to be able to print or email docs from our wiki to clients or techs. We love that. Currently, this doesn't seem possible. Is there a way to do it? If not, please add as a feature request. Yes, I will add it for you. That does sound like it would be super helpful. I just clicked all the buttons and I could not find a print or email option. So I will pass that along for you, Randy.
but you could make it available to them on their customer portal. If you
Mhm.
want to make a customer specific wiki and make that available to them on their portal, then they'd be able to get it there.
Ooh, I wonder. I don't think there's. I'm gonna go look if there's a print button. I feel like it still won't generate it as a PDF, like the estimates or tickets or invoices. Obviously, they can view all the information that they need there.
I have another update too on Chip's CC question. I just heard back from Carla on our technical support team. So in tickets, there's also a setting under additional settings. And this was again with Chip's question about getting CC'd. There is a private staff email that then you can go ahead and also set up an email here, and that will go ahead and add you also to some of the automated emails. We don't have a list on which ones, but some of them from there.
Thanks, Hannah, for that update. Larry's asking for a custom URL for the dashboard or portal. We don't currently have support for that.
And I'll grab this question from John. Is it possible to change the Google Plus social setting to LinkedIn under mailer? Google Plus no longer exists and was shut down in 2019. I will absolutely pass that along to the team. It doesn't look like you can edit it at this time, but we will pass that along for you.
Holy moly. All right. See, flurry, blank Q&A already again. Anyone interested in knowing that it's supposed to be like 108 degrees where I live and where Tatiana lives in the next few days?
70 degrees here all week. I'm actually jealous of you guys though. Like if I could just get the heat it's really nice in the winter, like just that it's 65 or 70 year round, but like I just want the heat sometime, you know, it's summer. Like I want to go outside without being cold.
How are we in Washington and you're in California, and it seems like we literally have opposite weather? Like it should be steamy hot where you are and freezing cold where we are, but
It's
nope.
always the same. Yesterday I was on a demo and I'm like, I'm so sorry. It's thundering and lightning. And it never does that in San Diego, ever. Like when people see rain, they like pull over on the side of it. One time it hailed. I've lived here 6 years. It was hailing. And I saw people pull over on the side of the highway and get out of their cars to look at it. It was like something crazy happening. It was bizarre. It's just a little storm, you know?
Andy says, can you send some sun over here just for the weekend is sufficient? Yes. Take the 108 degrees. Take all of it.
Oh, man. It's kind of nice, though, guys.
80 sounds great, Randy.
80 sounds pretty perfect. Yeah. Randy, where are you?
I can't remember. I feel like I know where Randy is, but now I can't remember.
Yeah,
Andy's in the UK.
Andy's in the UK.
Central New York, Syracuse.
Yeah, but you sure get that cold weather too. So I'm going to be asking you in the winter how your weather is, Randy.
Regarding the print, Derek says just tried Command P on his MacBook on the documentation and a print came up. Which hopefully may work on a PC. Yeah, I wonder if so let's try it. Yeah, it'll print the page for you. Definitely that's a valid workaround for sure. It just won't like generate a pretty PDF like the other estimates and invoices and things that we have built in through Syncro, but that definitely does work. I click Control P and there it is. So thank you.
Syncro is hosted with Heroku, but all of our data centers and servers are all in the US.
Why am I blanking? Is there a multiple resolve ticket option? Can you resolve tickets in bulk?
No, I'm just looking at this one. Are you looking at Brenda's question about if there are multiple resolve ticket options, which status would the quick resolve on the ticket dashboard go to? I'm not really 100% certain what.
No, No, actually, there wouldn't be. It would link directly to just resolved. It wouldn't link to any other like custom resolved options. It would just go quick resolve and right back into the
And
ticket. I think I was reading that wrong.
I'm also not seeing a bulk action for that.
no.
Cool.
John, when you find it, let me know. When you find it, let me know. I actually went to my local little place down the street and had this shirt made. We don't have a swag store yet, but it's funny. We've all requested it, and even just recently internally we talked about it. So I think there will be a place soon. Hopefully.
I hope so.
I'm gonna be like the first customer.
I've gotten creative. I had this made by a local artist because it was like,
That's so cool. I like that.
I'm obsessed with that.
Oh, awesome. Larry just has a nice comment. We aren't using Syncro in production yet, but these Friday webinars get me very motivated to get back in there and do more work to get converted. That's awesome. Let us know how we can help too. That's what these sessions are for. Come every Friday with your questions ready to go. Remember, it can always be really specific to your business. I mean, we've had people say, hey, I want to build this way. How would you do it here? Like, that's what this is for.
Yes, and I am typing Abdul. I believe that that's a bug. I'm hoping that you can report that to help@syncromsp.com. So I was just sending that.
I don't think quick resolve passes through billing. It still is going to show up as a resolved ticket. Quick resolve just doesn't take you straight. Like, yeah, it's still going to show up as a resolved ticket. So our system is designed very well to not let tickets slip through. Like if you want to bill for all of your tickets that have been resolved, those are going to populate. And if they don't, then you're going to get, like, if you go to create an invoice for someone, it's still going to tell you everything that has not been on an invoice. So nothing's going to slip through.
And then Greg, I don't think you missed anything. Brandy said Heroku were.
Oh, I'm like, Roku, I have one of those.
Me too. I was just thinking that. I was like, oh, right on the TV.
Pre-COVID, Friday evening is pub night, but now I do open office hours, time zone problems. We are so happy that you choose open office hours, Andy.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that would be cool. I'm not sure. How can I'm not sure. Maybe I'm missing how can I force Syncro to install for a single customer? Am I
Maybe the custom installer link. That's the closest that I'm.
I'll just share my screen while we're talking about it. We'll talk about a couple different ways. So like from what Tatiana is referring to, I think is just like on this customer screen, if you want to go grab an installer, you're actually going to out to the right, there's going to, of whatever policy, there's a link that you can grab here. Is that what you're referring to, Tatiana?
Mm-hmm.
So if you like, and you can send that over to someone, you also have the ability to, like, if you know you want to send it to just one specific person too, inside of a ticket, I think this is a really cool feature, because even if it's not a managed service client or they're using a different device today, you can send over an agent installer link inside of a ticket. You can choose whatever policy you'd like and send that over too. So quite a few different ways for you to install. If you're looking for more mass deployment option 2, we do have the MSI installer that you could do over group policy.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Any way to automatically bill for non-service contract?
Yeah. That would just be like the one that I showed with the recurring invoice and just have it monthly pull in any tickets that have been charged. You don't have to add anything else to those invoices.
Mm-mm. Nope.
We want it to be easy.
Yes, absolutely. Easy as we can get. Let's, okay. I think now's a good time. Warning, warning. If there's anything in the chat that you need to grab, go ahead and do that now. We've just got a couple minutes left. So just make sure, because those will go away. And I don't think you can access those on the recording at all. It doesn't carry over the chat. So make sure you grab those now. And again, if this was your first time, thank you so much for joining. And if you are reoccurring open office hours attendees, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us. We hope everyone has a safe, happy, healthy weekend, and we will see you all next week. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.